Hey, everybody, thank you very much for joining me. I got another great section of Meet the Maker. And I've known Ron for probably close to 5, 6 years now. And Ron is a fellow rocker like I am and great guy. He owns Hell's Kitchen Hot Sauces, and I couldn't wait to get him on. And this show tonight is for Chili Magazine. Head on over to chilimagazine.net for all the hot and spicy news that you can handle. It's chilimagazine.net. So without any further ado, let me get Ron in. Ron, how are you doing?
What's going on, Kendall? How you doing, brother?
Good. Ron Menin.
That's me.
Yeah, there we go. I I just wanted to get that right for everybody. Man, yeah, we have known each other for quite a while.
It's been a while, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
we like would go back and forth online and whatnot, like Mutual Admiration Society, and then we met at the expo a few years ago, like in person.
yeah,
Yeah, it was a very cool experience, man. Yeah,
it is. And
we appreciate what you do for the community, and
oh, thank you.
you're awesome.
Now,
Style rocker.
yeah,
You know?
we were supposed to be there this year, but
Yeah.
because of the coronavirus,
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of threw a crack into everything.
You're a wrench in the works, man. It's a rough time, especially up here in New York. It kind of grinds everything to a halt, and
Yeah,
the whole industry, to a halt.
yeah,
The most important thing that everybody's out there is safe and sound and doing the right things, and so that when we do come back together, it doesn't doesn't all start over again, because then like everything like we're doing to stay apart is gonna be all for naught, and then we're gonna have to do it all over again. So I
yeah.
feel like the more we can do to you know adhere to whatever we need to do right now, and then later on things will be better, hopefully.
Yeah, let's hope so. And I kind of feel like it's going to make things better for everybody because I think that everybody's going to have a little bit more understanding about what someone else is going through because it's affecting us all. And a lot of times when we see something affecting someone, other people don't have any clue, so they don't care. But
Yeah,
this time we do.
well, it gives everybody a perspective, I think,
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
sure.
I just wanted to mention that if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can get all these Meet the Makers. And we got a lot of good things coming up. And Ron from Hell's Kitchen Hot Sauce makes some amazing hot sauces. I've tried just about your whole line except for maybe the last few that you've had.
Right.
And man, you just make some great stuff.
Thanks, man. I try to kind of think outside the box and put flavor profiles together that some people might not think are, classic flavor profiles. One of the ones that I really enjoy is my cinnamon ghost punch.
Yes,
So
yes.
of course, everybody out there has had cinnamon toast crunch at least once in their lifetime. It's my favorite cereal when I was a kid, so I want to make something that kind of evoke those flavors of my childhood. So I went with Moroccan flavors on that particular one: cinnamon, roasted tomato, paprika, and it was actually top 10 New York Magazine 2018. So
Wow.
definitely a unique flavor profile. People were like, "What's with cinnamon hot sauce?" Craziness, but it's a super unique, and there's nothing really like it on the market.
Right. And really, you think about anything cinnamon goes on or
Yeah,
with,
sure.
you can use it. I
Yeah,
mean, it's endless from barbecue to chicken to anything that you think of cinnamon, even cookies or brownies or
sure,
something
sure.
added in.
Well, the funny thing, Kendall, is that people, when you think of that like flavor profile, people always think about sweet, but it's really cinnamon's not a sweet spice per se.
Oh, right.
It's obviously only sweet when we pair it with sugar or that type of stuff. But generally speaking, it's a savory spice. They use it in a lot of Indian cooking, Middle Eastern stuff,
Yeah.
and that's why I kind of went with that vibe. Think like lamb tagine, things like this. It's a very warm, uh, kind of comforting spice, and if it's used kind of with restraint, paired with roasted tomato and that type of vibe, it makes a really really great hot sauce. It's good on a variety of different stuff. You know?
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And you know, that's one thing that I've noticed with all the different hot sauces that I've tried is that the abundancy of flavors that you can mix with your foods to give you an entire new flavor profile
Yeah.
from the same proteins that you've always eaten, you
Sure.
know?
Sure. Well, that's the advantage of like having hot sauce. Like, say you're trying to be keto, or you're trying to maybe drop a couple pounds, or kind of be a little more healthy. Hot sauce is a really good way to achieve that, because you can have you got to have your grilled chicken or whatever,
Right?
uh, usually a bland, plain thing. But with hot sauce, like you said, you can have 100 different meals, you know, in basically this. If you have the same boring chicken breast, you can have it 100 different ways
Right?
by kind of using hot sauce, pairing flavors, playing around a little bit. Definitely opens up the options.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
You know, I'd like to step back a little bit and find out exactly how did you get started in that hot sauce industry?
Well, it's kind of a, I guess, common thing. People, like back in the day, and I still am a big fanboy. I'm sure you could see all the hot sauces behind me. That's
Yeah,
I have my own little you know collection here. Nothing like that Klinko has or anything, but I have some oldies but goodies. So back in the day, back in the '90s, I was a big fan of like Blair's, and the OGs, Dave's Insanity, and
hmm,
I had like the red rum bottles. I was a fan of the wax bottles, and I would pretty much eat hot sauce and everything. But it was before I even started with that. You're limited to Tabasco and
right.
store bought stuff, and I would just put hot sauce in everything. So people used to make fun of me. They're like, "Oh, you put hot sauce in everything you eat."
That's right.
I'm like, "Yeah," and uh, I can't eat anything without hot sauce to this day. Like, I'm not like a super. It's not like a super hot thing for me. It's more of a
Yep.
heat and flavor thing for me, which is kind of like the mission statement of my company: perfect balance of heat and flavor. And to this day, I eat hot sauce and everything. But when I started, it was around 2007. I come from a fine dining background. I used to work at restaurants. I worked at steakhouse here in Manhattan called Uncle Jack's, and I was one of the top captains in the city for a good 4 or 5 years, just working fine dining, various places. But I used to bring hot sauces to family meal, and if for those of you who don't know what family meal is, when you work in a restaurant, before like the staff meeting around 4 o'clock, before the night shift would begin, all of us, captains, waiters, busboys, runners, and the management staff, we would all sit down together and have a meal. So I would always bring different hot sauces to the. Let me just fix this a little bit. Sorry. I would always bring different hot sauces to family meal, and people, they used to like my Mexican friends who I worked with, and my Latino friends. They'd call me Chili Boy, you know, and that was like my first hot sauce nickname, and that's what evolved into Chili Pepper Jesus, which is what people call me now, CPJ. Yeah, it's my nickname.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I
so I would bring all varied hot sauces, not mine. This is before I started the company. It's around 2007, I would say 2007, 2008, and then because I was in the fine dining industry, exposed to food and wine and pairings and flavors,
mhm,
I was really intrigued with doing just that, and I started messing around on my own. And then like my first batches of hot sauce, my crock pot hot sauce that I made at the house,
right,
I would put them in Tupperware containers, or a quart container is what we usually use in a restaurant for everything,
right,
for soda and everything. And I'd bring it to family meal, and I'd get the okay from the guys, or I'd get the thumbs down from the guys, and then kind of started tweaking from there. And then flash forward to 2020, and here I am, Chili Pepper Jesus, with several awards and a pretty big line of hot sauce to my credit.
that's awesome.
And there you go.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I like
The
it.
American hot sauce dream, Kendall.
Yeah. Now, I have seen you post before that you actually have a storefront, or what do you have where you sell your stuff?
Yeah, I have a shop in Columbus Circle here in Manhattan, 59th Street. Uh, it's called Turnstile Underground Market. So if there's an actual mall in the subway tunnel there,
Okay.
it's separate from this. It's not like in the subway, like the subway is there, but it's in a separate place. Yeah,
Right.
there's a Starbucks down there and a bunch of different restaurants, like a food hall. It's the only one of its kind in Manhattan. It actually something that started in Japan. But yeah, I have a shop there, and we do. I do my own line of hot sauces, and then I do um, a selection of other people's brands as well. So I do a rotating selection of American craft hot sauces, including my own line. I do, Jersey Barn Fire, some Gemini Crow I get in there. I'll get some Hellfire out of Geneva, Wisconsin, and I curate it like I would curate a craft beer list because I've been in the restaurant industry, as I mentioned. So yeah, it's a rotating selection of American craft hot sauces. We do jerkies, beef jerkies, and all kinds of little spicy items, and yeah, and
Awesome.
that's my
Awesome.
yeah.
Now, how long you've been there doing that?
Uh, I This July will be 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, have you seen the more of a crowd coming towards the hot sauce industry in the last few years?
Oh, sure. I mean, it's funny, with things like Hot Ones and all the eyes on the industry.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I attribute it to people being more exposed to spice and just general exposure to culture, to different cultures and condiments. I've definitely seen a steady rise in interest and curiosity. Oh, how hot is it? And we've only just scratched the surface. Anyway, it's funny because all of us chili heads, you know, we kind of live in our own bubble. I like to say it's like people don't, you know, Kajon says it best. He's like, we're like 1/10 of 1% of the national, of the community. Um, and it's a very small community relative to the general population. So there's more work to do to get us even higher where we want to be.
Well, when you look at the statistics of the spicy food industry, I mean, it's going straight up. I
Right.
mean, this year they planned on it being close to $1.5 billion industry,
Yeah.
and when you look at the amount of privately owned companies like yourself, that only makes up like 10% of it.
Right.
So it's wide open for guys like you to explore new ventures and explode across the really across the world now, especially with the internet and shipping and everything.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying like everybody else. We got it's like little by little, try to be humble and try to build. I try to build customers one bottle of hot sauce at a time.
There you go.
So, and then, that's how kind of word of mouth grows and you become, you get to the next level and you're able to proliferate, like you're saying.
Now, how many sauces do you have now?
I'm doing, I think I got 12 SKUs right now.
Okay.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Like, I think 12. Yeah. And that
You just, I think your latest one is your wing sauce, is it?
sauce. Yeah. That's King of the Wing. I actually have it here. That's our King of the, oh, there we go.
There we go.
Trying to get in the camera here. King of the Wing. I wanted to do a wing sauce for actual people that like wings, like spicy wing sauces.
Right.
Because you get a wing sauce. Generally speaking, they're not really going to have much flavor and character if you get a mass-produced store-bought one. So I tried to do one that had a little bit more depth of flavor and definitely a little more heat than your run of the mill, as it were, just for like a prepared wing sauce. But
right?
it's really good. It's doing really well too.
Well, what I usually find is that I start out with something mild, then it gets a little bit hotter, then you're kind of craving something a little bit hotter. Now,
Sure.
you can get to the point where, at least speaking for myself, you can get to the point where it's so hot it's just taking all the excitement out of it or all
I'm
the
with you.
joy, the flu, but
I'm with you.
food. But
Well,
now, what?
there's that side of the business too. The extreme, the upper echelon. What's the hottest thing you got? The biggest question, and I'm sure a lot of other, especially at shows and whatnot, and at my shop, oh, what's the hottest thing you got? Like 85% of people will ask me that, and I'm like, all right. You get bombarded with it day to day to day. It's like, oh my god, all right, with the what's the hottest thing you got? And if they don't have any frame of reference, um, actually, I just got hot sauce in my eye. See,
Oh no!
no, it's okay. It happens all the time, pretty much on a daily basis. Just you just got to be careful that don't touch your eyes or any other sensitive area either.
This is the
So,
truth.
you all know what I'm talking about, and I'm not winking. I just got hot sauce in my mouth. It's real. The struggle is real, kid. I look like Popeye now. This is what I'm doing my method acting. I just had an audition for Popeye off Broadway. I just made that up, but
The only problem is there's no one there to see it right
yeah,
now.
right, exactly. It'd be me standing in the middle of the block on like 46th Street, like I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
I always thought of Bon Scott,
Oh,
who
sure.
was like a heavy metal Popeye, Whenever I used to hear the shit, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
I love it, dude. I love it, man.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
mean, but it was a great voice. Now, besides the hot sauce industry, what is your what is your go to? I mean, what makes you want to go out there and just keep doing it?
Oh, in terms of what that actually?
Anything.
Oh man, I mean, I have a lot of different like interests. I'm a avid cyclist. I live in New York here. I actually run a bar too. I work at a bar called Barcade down on St. Mark's. So it's a retro video game arcade, craft beer, video games. Great place. There's 8 of those around the city.
Wow.
So I do that. I'm a big pro wrestling fan. I'm a big audiophile and I'm a singer in my own right. Veteran of bands and stuff from back in the day. So I have a diverse talents. I enjoy cooking. I just love living life and making people happy, and however I can do that, and keep the world spinning. I say we're non-essential, but we're essential at this point, right?
Right. Right.
It's about it's like staying quarantine, like Little House on the Prairie, and then you'll really see how essential you know what we do is art and entertainment and the condiments that we're trying to put out there. It's all important.
Well, I love your hot sauces. I've told you that many times,
I
and
really appreciate it, man.
you got some really cool labels too. Who does your artwork?
I have the artist. His name is Dan Birch. He's based out of Brooklyn, and I actually was when I was first starting my company and ready to do my first couple labels. I was referred to him by one of my friends in the craft beer industry, um, and he does my labels, and then he does a bunch of craft beer companies as well.
Okay.
Barrier, he does Iconic, he does the ones for Alewife. Yeah, so he's great, and he has this real, like, my whole idea with my labels was to do tattoo flash pinup. I dated a burlesque dancer, pinup model. She would do stuff like that. So most of my labels are kind of reminiscent of her, and they're all kind of Molly in different situations. So this is the pepper pastry. That's our blueberry maple habanero. Sorry, follow the bouncing ball. I apologize.
That's fine.
I'm trying to get in the middle. There we go. Yeah, so she's just like a buxom pastry chef in that incarnation. And one of my favorites that we have is the retro jalapeno. So I
Yes.
love, me and Kendall here have talked. You and I have talked about, you know, the rock and roll and the hair metal and back in the day. This is kind of my hair metal. She's got the Zach Wild guitar there,
Yeah.
and then the hair is kind of you know uh,
The 80s hair.
it's like 80s hair,
Yeah.
but I kind of wanted like a Pat Benatar, teased up kind of situation, but just like really blown out of proportion, you know. So that's why I call this retro jalapeno, because it's like, and then the colors of this label, are the colors of Enough's Enough's first album. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you know those guys.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So I actually sang with them at one point. Like you know, at, there was a gig that they had that the lead singer was a little bit, shall we say, indisposed.
Oh, gee, I wonder what that caused that.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder. I don't know, but he was asleep, so you can draw your own conclusions. But he was a little bit indisposed, and I was actually at the gig, and I knew Chip, the bassist, and his brother. Chip pulled me up on stage to finish the set, so I did 5 songs with Enough's Enough.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, all the labels kind of have this tattoo flash pinup retro style. That's my habanero mango salvation. That's and I just changed my labels a little bit recently. And then the ginger devil here is fantastic. That's Daredevil, the
Yeah.
comic Hell's Kitchen. So this is Ginger Devil. So I don't get sued, but it's kind of reminiscent of that hell the Daredevil, and then she has HK on the lapel there,
Yep.
and that's officially licensed by Primo's Peppers out of Lafayette, Louisiana. My good
Yeah.
area.
I was going to say that's Troy Primo's peppers in that one.
Absolutely. And then we have our West Side Red, and this one, it's
I
kind of
like that one.
my Marilyn Monroe. This has become like the iconic drawing. I told Dan, I said, I want to do like Marilyn Monroe's 7 Year Itch, but as like a sexy devil, and this is what he came up with.
Awesome. I love it.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome.
And then we have Rockin' Rasta, which actually won the Screaming Mimi for Fruit Based this past year.
Nice.
The first place, and this is my little. So I told Dan, I said, I want a Rasta chick, with a boombox, and that's what he gave me. And then when we redid the labels, I said I'd love a palm tree in the background to show a little kind of
Island.
yeah, island vibe, perspective, whatever, and that's it. And he hit it out of the park. Anyway, that's some of my labels there.
Well, I love even though they're all different, they have a consistency that runs through them.
Sure.
With the kind of I didn't really realize, but kind of like the tattoo pinup art girl.
Sure.
But I really like that stuff. I see one up behind you there. I think that's one of your original ones over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually the French version of my original. This is see if you see it up there. It's Sauce Piquant, Hell's Kitchen.
Oh yeah.
It says it there. But yeah, this would be the original West Side Red. And I just found that on a supermarket shelf, the image was a little small, so we just did a little rebranding. But
Right.
the spirit of the original labels are intact. It just we wanted to kind of update them a little bit so that when you're looking at it on a grocery shelf, it's very
Right.
it's clear what it is. And
Yes.
then I still didn't sacrifice the artwork. It's still there. And actually, you get more information because I get I love his Made Right Here in New York City. I love that. You
Nice.
know, and
You know,
these are like a matte finish too. So I just we change it up a little bit.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I still like these. I call these my OGs. You know.
yeah. Now, do you have a co-packer that helps you out there?
I work. I cook all my own stuff. Sometimes, yeah, I do all my flavors. I work out of Entrepreneur Space in Queens. It's a FDA approved,
Sure, sure. Yeah,
kitchen, and I book shifts there, and I do 60 case, batches.
yeah.
I have a bigger job. Sometimes I'll sub it out to a co-packer.
Okay,
Yep.
that's fantastic. I know Tracy and I will go down and help Angry Irishmen out.
Oh yeah.
They do the same thing. They rent a, FDA kitchen out,
Cool.
and we'll help them make the sauce. And they helped us with the sauce that we did with them. And I tell you what,
Delicious that was, right?
yes. And I tell you what, after we've been down there and done it a couple times, I have a lot more respect for you guys that go in there and do that.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it that people don't really understand, or
Yeah.
even not understand, but it's like you unless you do it and you're in the process, you don't get the scope of what's involved. Really.
Yeah, I think I counted one time you handle the bottle, just one bottle, you
Sure.
handle it like 8 or 9 times.
There's a lot of touches, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean from washing it to make sure it's sterilized, to putting it on the line, to filling it, to capping it, to shrink wrapping it, to labeling it, to put it back in the box. I mean, and putting dates on it. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be automated to an extent, but even the automated, you still there's still people on an assembly line
Oh yeah,
until they put robots on an assembly line. But for us as small producers, I don't know what Kevin and Marianne's process is exactly, because everybody's is a little bit different.
right.
But for me, we're hand bottling. I have a labeling. I have a label machine. We're hand bottling, hand capping.
Yeah,
And everybody's process, the FDA process, is a little bit different. And there are a couple different ways you can go about things. But I do hot fill and hold, so everything has to be inverted, and
yeah,
you have to make sure the temperature when it goes into the bottle has to be whatever they say on your process letter from the FDA. For those of you out there who don't know, you have to you have your ingredients in weight. You send that away then to process authority, and then they'll write you a process, and then they'll send it back to you, and then you then have to file that piece of paper with the FDA, and then you're good to make your sauce.
yeah. And everything you do costs money.
Sure.
Everybody wants their bite.
Yeah, everything costs money, and people don't. You try to get your per bottle cost as low as possible, and then there's, do I work with a co-packer because they'll take care of all that for you, but then your per unit cost is higher.
Yep.
There's a lot of different things to consider, and everybody's different, and every state is different. But I wouldn't recommend it for hobby makers, to just be like, I'm going to start a company. You got to really want to do it and want to go far with it, because it's definitely a labor of love.
Yeah.
We're not doing it to get rich. Hopefully
Right.
make money and make a living at it. I mean, this is all I do. So that's, in that regard, it's good. But you got to do things to make ends meet, and make sure that make sure it's really what you want to do. It's it's like being in a band or being a singer. You're not doing it. You're not getting in it to make money, or maybe you are. But if you're getting it for that, then you're getting in it for the wrong reasons.
Well, and then you have to have everybody in the band going for the same reason that you
Sure.
are,
Sure.
because that was the biggest struggle I've ever found in the band, finding three or four or five other guys that have the same vision of what they want to do that you want to do.
Sure, and the drive.
And yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, I wanted to ask you definitely a couple more things.
yeah. Please do.
First of all, where can people get your sauce if they're not in New York?
Well, I have a great online business. You can get my stuff on www.hellskitchenhotsauce.com. Actually, I'm running a sale till the 15th. Promo code Spring30 will get you 30% off your entire order in our online store. So that's the
Nice.
biggest. Yeah, that's the biggest sale I've done. So it's like a social distancing sale, and I've been filling orders. It's been really good. But that's the best way to get some of my stuff if you haven't gotten a chance to sample. The Furious 4-pack is a nice little mixed pack of four of my best, and then I have a award winners 3-pack on there, and those are already discounted. And then you would get 30% off that, save you a little bit of the shipping, and
Right.
get
That's awesome.
stock up on a little Hell's Kitchen hot sauce. There's something in there for everybody, and not all of it's screaming hot. I everything like I like to say it's the perfect balance of heat and flavor. For people that like love spice, but they're foodies. It's definitely a foodie chef driven sauce line meant to be enjoyed with food.
Yeah, I when I taste your sauces, I get that you've put a lot of time and thought into putting the ingredients that you have to get the flavor profile you're looking at.
Sure.
It's not like I'm just going to throw the stuff in. Hey, good enough. This will be good. Your stuff has got a rich and a layered effect to it that I think people really enjoy.
Thank you so much. Well, we do slow cook all our recipes, and that's very important. And it's like brewing beer for those of you out there who do that. It's like cooking. It's like grandma cooking her Sunday sauce on the stove for 12 hours.
Right.
This is how you develop flavor, and the precepts of that. You can apply that to anything, and I try to apply it to my sauce making. Um, I'd rather sacrifice like a few cases to evaporation to develop better flavor than water my stuff down, or just for lack of a better term, phone it in. I don't phone anything
Yeah.
in my life. I never have. I was raised blue collar. It's like I try to follow through with stuff, and I think my sauce making reflects that, and the flavors and the flavor profiles, and I appreciate the term thoughtfulness. I think that comes through in what I'm putting out there. It's important for me because it's a reflection of me. It's my passion, my soul, my kind of everything I am is in those bottles.
Absolutely. I just want to remind everybody I'm talking to Ron Menin from Hell's Kitchen Hot Sauce. And I've known Ron a long time, and he's just got some amazing hot sauces. You've got to get them. So I guess the next thing really to ask you now, internationally, what about buying it?
You can purchase from Chili Klaus in Denmark, chiliklaus.dk. Any of my Scandinavian friends over there, and then I'm on in the UK and the surrounding areas in Europe. You can get from hotheads.uk. My good friend Stuart McAllister carries our full line of products. Also, Russ Williams from Grim Reaper Foods in the UK carries our products as well. I'm actually he and I do a work trade. That is to say, I carry his products here. I'm actually the only United States person to carry his whole line, and you can get that at my shop in Columbus Circle. And soon to be, I'm thinking about putting them on my website as a friends of the family thing.
Nice.
He makes some good stuff, and he does some. It's good because he does some super hots. Just to not talk about myself for just a second, Russ does, and that's grimreaperfoods.uk, and you can purchase Hell's Kitchen hot sauce products on his website there. But he does some of the best extracts in the business. And I know there's been like some tincture extract, the whole scenario, but these extracts are not bitter. They don't have that caustic chemical vibe that a lot of extracts have. He does one called Oblivion. That's a 500,000 Scoville unit, clear extract, and it definitely has kind of a very neutral flavor to be able to be added to soups and stews and stuff like that, or just do like people like to do their challenge stuff. And then he does a couple uh, 1 million Scoville unit, one with lemon extract and another pretty clean one. He does a 1.6 million extract, and then he has one that's 9 million called Affliction. And yeah, and I highly recommend all of them because they're some of the finest quality extracts on the market. I know extracts kind of it's like kind of a naughty word these days. Things go in cycles, but they're doing it right. So definitely
9 million though.
9 million. That's of the Affliction. It's yeah. I mean, I haven't tasted it or whatever, but I actually had some guys. Funny story. I'm in the middle of Manhattan, my shop. So I had some guys literally find me on Google. Some guys from Qatar, and they flew over their private jet because his wife saw it online. She's like, I want this. So they flew over to New York just to get the stuff from me, and they came to the shop, and they spent like $1,800 on hot sauces, and he counted out in $100 bills. That was fun.
It was a good
I
day.
took pictures with him and stuff. He got pictures with my. I have a championship title. I
Yeah.
people wear, and they took pictures with that and stuff. So we had a good old time, and he left happy, and I gave him a T-shirt and some hats for the kids and whatnot. So you know,
The internet. Crazy.
yeah. Just I'm like, well, how did you find? He's like, yeah, we flew over just for you, my friend. I go, oh, okay. My wife wanted this 9 million Scoville units, scenario, and I had it for him. So
That's
we're good for
crazy.
them. It's fun. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, good time. Good time. A good time was had by all.
Yeah. That's just, who can say that story, you know?
Nobody. My life is stranger than fiction. It really is. I'm sure you can attest. It's like
Well,
some of the stuff that happens and has happened, and that I've done and seen, and you know, you see Ron the sauce maker here, but it's a full rich life. It's just a blessing. I love my life. I love meeting people and getting to do what I do on a daily basis is just it's such a blessing. And in the midst of what's going on, I get to look out like I'm in the middle of Manhattan, guys. I get to look outside and you know what I get to see out my window. It's truly an amazing thing.
yeah, definitely. New York is, if no one's ever been there before, it's exactly what you think.
Yeah.
It's a crazy 24-hour town, and it's like being high all the time, walking around looking. It's just crazy there. I love it.
Yeah,
I
the
love New
energy, and
York.
it's like for people who live here, there's definitely a camaraderie and a cellular connection. Um, and New Yorkers being like because of the population density, people like to say like it's very disjointed, but it's comprised of neighborhoods and it's comprised of people, and
Yeah.
in a time like this, we're all kind of coming together, and you see the best in people, and the worst, but for the most part, I try to be an optimist, glass half full type of dude, and
Yeah, and I think you are seeing that.
you
I think
definitely
you
see
are
the best
definitely
in
seeing that.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Now, social media,
yeah.
Facebook.
Sure. It's
Um,
my Facebook is it's Hell's Kitchen Hot Sauce, and then it's my Twitter is at capital HK small hot sauce capital NYC. So at HK Hot Sauce NYC on Twitter, And then my Instagram is at Hell's Kitchen Hot Sauce as well. I have a vibrant Instagram, a lot of fun. It's a kind of a mix between the company and myself. I don't separate my you know my page from what I do, because I think that everything that I do in my company is a reflection of me and my kind of
Absolutely.
exploits. So I try to kind of make it fun and keep people engaged that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you bring the other company from overseas onto your website, because I
Sure.
think that'll definitely um, expand what people can look at and buy, and I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, well, I've known Russ for years. We he bought. Funny story. We met through the Chili Head community about maybe 15 years ago. He bought some Blair's reserves from me back in the day, and then we ended up corresponding a little bit. And then there was something on eBay. His wife was collecting these martini glasses, these painted martini glasses, and he had me buy it for him here. He PayPal'd me the money, and then I sent it over to him because it was cheaper for him. So I did him that favor, and we've been friends ever since. So he started his company, and then I started mine, and then we've been kind of friends. And we just recently, 2 years ago, actually met face to face for the first time at the New York City Hot Sauce Expo. So for those of you who don't go to these shows, hot sauce brings people together.
It does.
It's that community, the community vibe, and I've met some phenomenal people, and people that are passionate like I am, and it's definitely a fun, wacky community.
Oh yeah, I know so many times I'll tell somebody, yeah, I'm going to a hot sauce show or expo or bazaar or whatever anybody wants to call it, and they look at me like, "What? I've never heard of this." I said, "Oh yeah, there's an entire hot sauce underground that's exploding,
Yep.
and you have to get to know it, because it's literally some of the best times I've ever had going and meeting everybody. Everybody's booth is like a little different rock performance. Everybody's got their own little thing going on, and
Oh,
I
thank
just
you,
love it.
man. I love that's such a great analogy.
It's the truth. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, what's next for Hell's Kitchen Hot Sauce?
Well, I think the pandemic has thrown the wrench in the works for a lot of things. Not to keep bringing that up, but obviously it's something that's like in our face. So
And it's worldwide.
yeah, so there's no hiding the fact that it's really thrown a wrench in the works, literally and figuratively. My shop is currently closed. Matter of fact, like the city's basically on still on lockdown.
Right.
As far as events, I'm hoping that uh, we'll be able to do the Portland Hot Sauce Expo. I was going to be doing all of Steve Seabury's expo
Oh,
this year. Yeah, so New York is supposed to be rescheduled in September. We're all praying that it's going to go off.
yeah.
Chicago was just unfortunately canceled.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that we just actually got. I mean, I kind of knew that it was going to happen, but we kind of got the word on that today, unfortunately. Um, and then Portland is in August, so I'm hoping that that comes off, would be nice. And then Bowers and the Brooklyn Botanic Garden, and then praying that the holiday markets, the market at Bryant Park isn't canceled.
Yeah.
Now it isn't.
Now, Bowers and the New York Hot Sauce Expo is the same weekend now.
Yeah, yeah. So
That kind of hurts.
yeah, well, I'm gonna have to get some of my couple members from my team um, to do New York, and I'll do Bowers probably.
Okay. All right.
What's gonna end up happening?
Well, now give the address to your website again. Now, before you do that, will
Yeah.
all of your um, events and stuff be on your website or on your Facebook page, or what?
On the Facebook, on the Instagram, you can always check back often, and of what we're up to. new products and whatnot. I'm actually I'm releasing a line of beef jerky very very soon.
Nice.
The beef jerky is completed. I have the first batch here. I have about 200 bags sitting in a sealed bin right to my right over here in my apartment. But we're doing four hot sauce inspired beef jerkies, um, inspired by my flavors.
Yeah.
And this is a little spoiler for you guys, or a little teaser. The line is going to be called Street Meat, Hell's Kitchen Street Meat. And for those of you who don't know what street meat is, New York halal carts. Basically, the guys are on the street corners. They shave the gyro or the shawarma,
Yeah.
which is basically the same thing, beef and lamb, like thinly sliced, and it comes over a bed of rice. It's really great at 4 in the morning after you've been drinking all night. And the guy will say white sauce, hot sauce, and then you get the white sauce and hot sauce, and it's the best street food ever. But we affectionately call it street meat. So I wanted to do something again that reflected, New York, and so I'm calling the line of jerky Street Meat.
That's awesome.
Sure. So the double entendre would be, you can walk around and with your pouch of meat, and one of the flavors inspired by the aforementioned cinnamon ghost punch is going to be called shawarma. I'm calling it, shawarma flavor, inspired by cinnamon ghost punch. And
I love it.
then we're doing a blueberry maple habanero, which is inspired by pepper pastry, a raspberry jalapeno inspired by our red, and then a coconut curry inspired by our award-winning Rockin' Rasta. And these are flavor profiles and that aren't normally, you don't get them in jerky. And I partnered with Katie, Katie's Beef Jerky, out of Westerville, Ohio, or Columbus. She's in that area, and we put together something pretty special, and my hot sauce, her, time tested, time honored quality of jerky. So we definitely came together and put something together that was very very special. So look out for that, and it's going to be called Hell's Kitchen Street Meat, inspired by our hot sauce flavors and our love for New York street cuisine, shall we say.
Awesome. You mentioned street meat,
Yeah,
and it throws me back when I lived in New York. I lived in Franklin Square, and we used to play in the city all the time. This is early '80s. The first time I ever had
down the village. What venues did you play in the '80s?
L'Amour's.
Oh, of course, love it.
L'Amour's Far East, the Cat Club,
Sure.
The Doo-Wop Station,
Yeah.
The East End, I believe.
Yeah.
There was probably about Tracks. That was
Sure.
I mean, you name it, we played them. It was crazy. But I first time I ever had a dirty water dog.
Okay.
Never knew why they called him dirty water dog.
Right.
Until they stuck the tongue into that water and it disappeared.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and, it still exists, man.
And it was the best hot dog I've ever had.
The best hot dogs ever.
Absolutely.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was the best.
Hot dog on the street, pretzel, and I'm telling you, if you haven't had like halal guys, there's a couple of them. Rafiki's is one of the ones I like, and then they have a couple carts around, and these are, by the way, it's not what you think. It's not like these guys sell a lot of stuff. It's clean.
Yeah.
These are reputable, licensed people that are out there doing it. I feel like, a couple people would give people a bad name, but it's any industry.
Exactly.
But it's some of the best, cleanest food you can get at 4 a.m.
Oh yeah. I mean, I used to live on them.
Yeah. And I used to like, you get it for dinner. It's reasonable, $6, delicious.
Yep.
Yeah. Chicken or he takes the chicken and chops it all up. It's like marinated, and then they got the gyro. And they chop it up all fine, like they got the things like this, and then they put it over yellow rice or brown rice, whatever they got, and then they put the sauce all over it, and then it's in a styrofoam container. Definitely not eco-friendly, but it's all the vibe, And then they stick a fork right in it, and then hopefully,
and away you go.
and away you go. Good Square Park to go meet your your friend in the park.
Yeah. Ron, it's totally been my pleasure to talk to you and see you again. I was looking forward to seeing you this, the middle of last month in New York, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that. But I know our paths is going to cross again, and I can't wait to see you because every time we get together, it's a good time.
Yeah, man, I can't wait, dude. I think you're awesome, and
thank you.
We always have a lot to talk about, so it's very cool. I can't believe the interview's over already, man. I could sit here and talk to you for another hour.
Absolutely.
Talk about old rock and roll. We got kind of off topic there a little bit. Maybe I'll interview you or have you in on my Facebook Live, and we can do a little screaming at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Help me write a little. I'm starting to write a little jingle for the Hell's Kitchen. So.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, dude. So we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Let me close this out. Hang on. I'll be right back with you.
Do it.
Thank you, everybody, for watching tonight. Meet the Maker with Ron Menin from Hell's Kitchen Hot Sauce. And great guy. We could go on for hours. I know we could. And so I think you should keep watch for a part 2 of this because I'm sure we're going to go off down a rabbit hole someplace and have a great time.
There's a lot of rabbit holes to go down.
Yeah. So until next time, please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. And we will see you Makers in the Heat live.